UK inflation falling to its lowest level since records began in January.
It's come in at minus 0.7 month on month. That was against an expectation of minus 0.8%. For the year result, it has come in at, we're still looking for that, minus 0.9% it's come in the month. The core has come in at minus 0.8%, the lowest since records began earlier in January. So let's get some reaction to this. Of course, Helia Ebrahimi on set with us. We've seen sterling fall quite significantly over the last 10 minutes. It's flat on the day, 153.46. Helia, what are your first takes on this?
Well, listen, we've all been expecting that inflation dip low, and actually, since last week, we know the Bank of England Governor Mark Carney said it's not only going to fall way below our inflation target of 2%, but we're going to go into negative territory. So I think the market has been expecting this, and UK January CPI at 0.3%. That's not very far from what analysts and economists were expecting. 0.3, 0.4%, that's the expectation. And I think in coming months, we're going to dip into that negative territory. I don't think markets will be too alarmed.
And of course, the question is, will this delay that first interest rate hike? I also want to point out, Helia, that UK December housing prices up 9.8% year over year in comparison to the 9.9% gain we saw in November and the 13.3% we saw in London, excuse me. So the question is, are we already starting to see the cooling of housing prices and what that means, especially when we are seeing wage growth?
You started to see actually a couple of short positions taken out against the likes of Foxtons and other house builders in the UK at the top end of the market last week. Interesting, because that probably tells you what the smart money is thinking, possibly cooling. We know at the top end of the market the prices have come down, it slowed up, and the second half of last year was a huge cooling off period after rapid expansion in prices in the UK. That should start to bounce back. I think, as you said, wage inflation, very important. We're finally earning a little bit more. I don't think sentiment will change in terms of when we're going to get a rate hike, because really last week was the resetting for everyone about where we were going to get those that interest rate hike from the Bank of England. We're expecting that now within the first half of next year. So I think difficult time. There's all the debate about whether it's good deflationary pressure or bad deflationary pressure, and this probably means good money for consumers.